3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just want to show you a quick step-by-step process of what I do to make my videos. I figured I'd change it up a little bit and give you something a little bit more informative. And probably a lot of people have been wondering how I do this. All right, so the first thing is I have my drum pad. Right there is by Beta Percussion. And I just have a towel underneath it. That's just so it doesn't move all over the place. And I just put it on top of my snare drum. Then I'm gonna use my Zoom H6 to record the drum pad. That's located right there. As far as lighting, I just have on the left side, I have a YN360 Mark III, which is a bar light, and I can change the color on that. And then all the way towards the right, I have an Aputure 120D Mark II with a light dome. As far as the camera, I'm just using the DJI Pocket Osmo 2, which is a fantastic camera, and it has a built-in gimbal, which is really nice. And right now I have the wide-angle lens. Then once I finish talking here, I'm going to put the DJI 2 Osmo Pocket 2 here onto this. This is just a magnet that has a ball head, and then I can maneuver it however the heck I want. All right, so now that I have everything set up, the next step is just to record everything. But before we do that, I gotta make sure I put my click on, and this exercise is gonna be 120 BPMs. That way I know exactly where I am, and I can put the sheet music on the bottom and line everything up perfectly. All right, so now that we finished recording the video, now the next step is the editing process. Welcome back to part 2. First thing you need is headphones. I have the Meze Audio Classics 99, fantastic headphones. And then once you do that, we can start dumping our footage into our movie program. All right, so once you put all your footage in there, the first step is to line up the audio with the video, something like this. After you do that, the next step is to make sure that you check your audio levels, make sure they're not peaking too much. I like to keep mine at 0. I know that's a little hot for most people, but you can keep them between -6 and 0. For me, I keep the pad a little bit hot, only because I'm gonna put music underneath it, and I wanna make sure that the pad is a little bit louder than the music. So the next step is, if you wanna add a click, all you have to do is screen record from your iPhone and then airdrop it to your desktop. In my case, I'm just gonna use Groove Clicks. Once I have that, I'll just line up the click with the playing exercise. So the next step is to add sheet music. I use MuseScore 4 just because the scrolling aspect is really smooth and it's free. So now what we wanna do is we just wanna put the playhead back to the beginning and then let it play, and we're gonna use Loom to screen record this. All right, so once you're done with that, go to Loom, download the MP4 file, and put it in Final Cut Pro. So the next step is probably the most tedious step. But before we do that, the first thing I want to do is I want to download an old paper overlay. This way I have like my own style, my own brand. Once I do that, I try to line it up to the bottom of the page. However, I also have an overlay that has the overlay of the different social media aspects, something like this. So the reason I have this is I don't want the sheet music to get cut off, and every platform is different. Plus the iPhone crops in a little bit, so we just got to be careful with that. All right, so in this next part is the tedious part. You're just cropping out what you don't need, and you're framing everything out perfectly with the grid. So I choose my metronome to make sure that I'm cutting everything in time. So the last and final step for me is I like to put music underneath whatever musical application I'm playing on. I use Epidemic Sound, and once I have that, I can download either the track or I can download the stems. Once you have that, the next step is to check everything out, and then you'll have the final results. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to part 3. In this part, all we're doing is we're sprinkling in some sauce to make your editing process look really nice. So we're only gonna do a couple things. The first thing is I wanna add the numbers to the metronome so that you know exactly where you are on the click. In order to do this, again, you just have to screenshot using a metronome app. I'm gonna use Polynome for this, and then we're just gonna extract the audio and then just use the visual aspect of it. If you notice what I just highlighted, this is exactly what I need to put into the video. Now, an important aspect of this is you have to make sure that you transform this. So make sure that the visual is not too big or too small. All depends on how much you have on the frame. So in order to do this in Final Cut, all you have to do is select the video and then go into this icon right here. And then all you have to do is you have to scale this up and down. So right now I have this scale to 25. However, if I put it to like 50, you'll notice that it's a little too big. So I'm gonna put it back to 25. That way you know where it's at. And then the key here is you have to blend mode this and put the blend mode to add. Originally it looks like this, and while this looks great, for me I just want to add it That way it doesn't detract from what I'm playing. The next step is just to line it up, so make sure that the 1 is with the click, so something like this. And I'm satisfied with that. The final step in this process for me in this video is I'm gonna add a digital zoom and a digital zoom out. In order to put this effect in, all you have to do is click the effects window, and then you'll see all video and audio, and then just type in zoom, which I just did, and then you'll see zoom in ease, that's the one I use, or zoom out ease. So all I did was I cut the clip in half, and on the first half I put a zoom out ease, and then on the second half I put a zoom in ease. And the final step is just to check your work, make sure that everything is within the boundaries. So the first thing I do is I turn my custom overlay on. That way I can check to make sure that I'm in the safe zones of each platform. And that's pretty much it. And here's the final video.